He has a 1-1 count. That one's struck high. Left side. That one's going. That's out of here. Off the wall. You have got to be kidding me. Fireworks. Here you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we continue to roll on. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, these brought to you by the great folks who make this possible at the CHIPS organization here. These broadcasts, again, are always fun. These conversations are fun. And I say CHIPS because it's an amazing facility. But what makes the facility so great are the people within it. Kory Winter, Director of Baseball Operations, here with me right now. And again, the chance to talk about what CHIPS does. And again, from the standpoint of you come in, you get a holistic experience, and you come out. But Kory, I want to first start by saying thanks for jumping on.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
It's always a fun conversation to have. And again, I like to start the conversation by looking at the kind of the background of everybody. And you know, you've had a good background. You know the game very well. That's safe to say. But I want to ask first off, what has been the road and the pathway for you to get to CHIPS?
So I played college baseball at a small D3 school in Ohio called Wittenberg University.
Yep.
Taught a year of high school English. Wasn't for me. Wanted to get into coaching. So
Yep.
I spent 2 years at Muskingum University in Ohio.
All right.
Division III, graduate assistant, recruiting coordinator, all that.
Yeah.
Spent a year at Shippensburg University, a D2 in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And then 10 years at Valparaiso University, Division I over in Valparaiso, Indiana.
Yeah. And of course, got another Valparaiso guy, alumni coming here as well.
Yeah, Cade's our guy. Yeah, so I recruited Cade at Ballard out here. And I actually am familiar with the area from recruiting.
Nice.
When I got the recruiting coordinator position at Valpo, we kind of saw that Iowa was an untapped resource. There's only one Division I in the state, a lot of good ball players. And so we made an effort to come out here in the summer and the fall. And Cade was actually one of my first commits as recruiting coordinator. So yeah, it comes full circle.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And now you're here at the CHIPS facility, and truly this is. I've been impressed from the get-go. Getting not only at the facility, the atmosphere. We're here in the dugout. A place where guys can just come in and just kind of relax here. I want to get from your experience in the game. There's so much that goes on in just a person's everyday life. Even with baseball players who are consumed by it, the chance to kind of take a little bit of a break while still being somewhat in the atmosphere of the game, I find is something that's really cool. And honestly, you see a lot with college guys. They're out there at the dugouts, they're playing. They're around the facility anyway a lot. And now it seems like you get a lot of similarities between what that next level will be outside the field. And it seems like you're bringing everything, like you were mentioning, full circle here.
Yeah, so I think the game plan and the purpose here is to create an environment that is going to be as close to what an athlete is going to experience at the college level, especially in today's day and age at the Division I level with the arms race of facilities and so on and so forth. A lot of these places, you get out of class at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and practice may not be till 3, but you go to the facility and you hang out, you eat lunch, you play ping pong, you play video games, you work out, you take a break, you hit, so on and so forth. So I think we wanted to provide kids an opportunity to experience that type of an environment where you can come in here for multiple hours, and like I said, we have the locker room here that you hang out, you can play ping pong. We're trying to create that kind of baseball playground is how we word it a little bit, where you can get your baseball in, your strength and conditioning, but also it's a place where guys can hang out and socialize and just be around the game. And that's, I think, conducive to what they're going to see at the next level. We're trying to prepare them for that a little bit better than maybe just going to facility, hitting, and you leave. We see it as kind of a one-stop shop where you can get everything in and have your own little space for the players. So it's very player-centric in that regard. And that's the way it is at the college level. And so we're just trying to give that to guys because that's an, I think, important cultural shift you get, that you don't realize how much time you spend at the facility where you're not actually doing baseball stuff. You're just there and building relationships, and that's a really important part of it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that you get everything and more when
Sure.
you get here, and I wanted to talk on your position here as well a little bit more. What's when you come? What's your daily activities like when you get in? You walk in the door. What do you? I mean, again, there's so much that goes on in the facility, and everybody seems to work flawlessly together already. What is your day-to-day schedule like for you, and what do you do when it comes to helping these kids develop?
So what the day-to-day is going to look like for us once we get into the school when school starts back up is we'll get here sometime early afternoon. And a lot of it for us is we're going to have programming for guys where they'll be able to sign up for different classes or development models between 3 and 7 o'clock. So our day starts probably around 11 o'clock, give or take. Come in, go over each of the guys, kind of what their game plan is for that day, and try to individualize the instruction based on what the kid needs.
Got it.
So, a lot of us is prep work during the day, and then once they get in here around 3 o'clock, I'll be running all the offensive stuff here with Kate helping me out. And that'll be, like I said, 3 to 7, and we're trying to make it it's very similar to like the NCAA model. We had individuals where we were allowed to we'd have 4 guys for a session. The sessions would last anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. Here, I think they're going to be 45 or to an hour. And every day when you're coaching, you're in the office in the morning, you're figuring out what am I going to do today to help this kid get better. And so that's the model we're trying to take here. There'll be different offerings that kids can sign up for, but when we get them here initially, we'll use some of our technology and strength conditioning stuff to be able to silo them into groups that we think would be beneficial for their development. And then my job is to make sure that the kids are given programming, and we're not going to micromanage. And my job's not to put the ball in the tee for you every time, but it's just to make sure you're doing your work correctly. And we want to build guys and help them develop. I think a lot of it's agency and kids taking ownership of that. And it's not a do what I say because it's a lot of I think it's important for kids to take ownership and to learn and for me to teach them and help them kind of be their own coaches to an extent. Because once you get to the next level, you only have a finite amount of time as a coach to work with a kid. So it takes kids, the ones that continue to get better are the ones that are able to take what they're given and then kind of run with it and take ownership of their own development and whatnot.
Yeah, it's certainly, that is ultimately the goal.
Right.
You want that, and well, again, that's what this provides here. But beyond that as well, there's so many things that if you're thinking, man, I'm just working on hip movement today, there are things for that. There are coaches, everybody here knows exactly what that looks like and how to help. But then there's machines here, there's technology here. I wanted to touch up on that. How does all this technology in the grand scheme, when it comes to helping the development of these players? I know I talked with Alex Hale a while back about the Proteus machine. I mean, for crying out loud, there's everything's so dialed in here that it seems like if you're not walking out of here improving, it's because you didn't put in the effort.
Yeah, and I think our job is also to make sure that they have the direction, they know the direction of where they're supposed to go with that. You can assess till the cows come home with all the different tech we have, but then at the end of the day, we have to give them direction. The kid has to know why they're doing what they're doing. And so with some of our technology, at least from the hitting side of things, we'll have blast motion sensors, we have hit track data, and those will help us with the assessment process to kind of understand where those kids are and what the lowest hanging fruit is. And I think it allows us to have a little bit more of a prescriptive nature of knowing what we're actually trying to work on instead of just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. I know from the strength conditioning side, the VOLT system, and we're able to measure force creation and force production and movement profiles and all that type of stuff. And as a hitting guy, that will allow me to better understand how a player moves or how their body works, and then what best suits how their body operates. And being able to be a little bit more specific and not just a cookie cutter one size fits all. That's kind of the whole goal. And I think that's what helps kids develop is by finding things that work for them and that work within the parameters of their physical capabilities. And, all the data and the technology will give us a little bit of a better direction of where we're going. So there's some method to the madness. I think it also allows kids to, once our job is to also educate them on what that data means. And then they can hold themselves accountable with respect to a specific metric that we're following on blast, for example. They know where we're trying to be and what range we're looking to be, and then they can kind of auto-correct, self-correct a little bit in the midst of their training instead of needing me to, let them know every swing they take. So I think, again, just having agency and the kids taking ownership of it, I think is extremely important. We want them to leave and they know what they're doing, why they're doing it, and what works best for them. And I think that's the key.
Really seems like that you're truly meeting them where they're at, not trying to get them to a level, but necessarily starting where they're at and where their base is, instead of trying to put the square peg in a round hole kind of
Sure.
thing.
A lot of when you're working with a kid, whether it's the college level, high school, youth, is just figuring out what they know, what they've been told previously, kind of where they're coming from, and your terminology may change based on what the kid needs or what they understand, and what makes sense to me may not make sense for the player. And so your job as the coach is to make sure that you're speaking their language, and your job is to try to translate what you're trying to come across to what makes sense for them. So if you can be on the same page with the athlete, I think there's some buy-in and some trust that comes with that, that's for the players. But also, like, we don't want to speak two different languages. And so with that, where their current understanding of the game is, their swing, defense, whatever it is, but also recognizing that, and then again, trying to address the lowest hanging fruits and not build Rome in a day.
Yeah, exactly. Certainly a lot that goes into it is here, and a lot of people who are in the facility that interact. And one of the things that as I've talked to so many coaches now, there's a lot of chat back and forth when it comes to talking with those from Sylvan, talking with those from DeMoss. What's the collaboration like? I know it's early still. Sure. A lot of things have to happen yet, but it does seem like there's truly everybody's talking with each other. There's not a single bit of information that's not missed when it comes to everybody having their expertise yet sharing at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the development of the individual, especially from my experience at the college level, is pretty holistic. We would interact with academic advisors. We would interact with strength conditioning. We'd interact with trainers. And so with that, I need to know if a kid has a deficiency in his internal rotation of his back hip, or, if a player's injured in some capacity. And so it's kind of common for where we come from, is that you have to have this broad understanding of all these different things, because if you don't do that, then you may be putting kids in positions that isn't really good for them. So it's I don't know if that's unique, but it's just kind of something I think we're used to with the guys we have here that are experienced in the college level, that you need to know what they can do physically from a strength conditioning standpoint, how that carry overs to their performance, and then if there are different things that we need to do to ease off them in certain capacities because they're not physically where they need to be, or so on and so forth. So I mean, I think it's something that's kind of, we're used to it, so it's just kind of, it comes with the territory.
And again, another level, just another experience that you get here at CHIPS. I mean, this is truly the right way to prepare for whatever level is next for them.
Sure.
What doesn't matter where. And I know you've seen guys of all different walks here. It seems like even the guys that come in here, it's just now this is time for baseball. Doesn't matter if you're D1. I mean, we've seen D1s here with D3. Mm-hmm. You seem to get a lot of variety here, and you're never labeled. You're only the baseball. That's kind of where you sit here. It seems like that, again, I think having that mindset, true, you talk a lot about just being in the right state, and it seems like here you put yourself in the right mindset, which is easy to do at this facility. Right. And I think that takes guys a long way, especially guys who may not be certified D1, or know it. I mean, certainly if someone wants to get better, you have to be in the right mindset to do it too.
For sure. And I mean, I played Division III baseball. I coached D3, D2, D1, and they're really good players at all the levels. Division I, they just tend to be 3 inches taller than everyone else, or a step faster. But I think sometimes the label of like being a guy that's Division I guy, that doesn't mean you're actually a better baseball player. You may have more tools, or you may do something that's unique that other players don't. But to be honest, we don't really care what level you're playing at here. We just want guys to come in and get better at baseball. And we want them to get better at baseball because a lot of kids and the families, that's important to them. And they want to see growth and development, and they want to see how good they can be. And if that's Division III is the top out of where great, to be the best Division III baseball player you can. And a lot of these guys, I think at this age, this is their identity, and we just want to help them do the best they can in being the best baseball player and the strongest and the fastest they can be, because that's what their identity is, and that's important.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It's certainly when you get here straight from the get-go, like you talked about, there's plans, there's individual. It's really individualistic to the person, and so however you do it, whether you're even just relaxing here. Again, we're in a heck of a room right now. It just like screams baseball. Again, royalty with all that in here, and so it really is fun. And it also seems like coming to work has to be real fun too. I know that you've coming from the college level, but you get here and everybody's excited. There's nobody in here that it seems like you have to try and pull a tooth just to get rocking.
Sure.
But when it comes to you get Cade as well, someone but a lot of these guys just they know baseball. So what's it like coming in and working in this environment each and every day?
I mean, it's similar to what I was used to at the Division I level. And that's why I'm here, because I enjoy I think the baseball part is great, but it's the personal interaction.
Yep.
From the hitting side of things, when you're in a cage with a guy and there's a lot of psychology going on, there's a lot of how you're feeling, getting to know the kids on a personal level. So the relationship building, I think, to me, is what I have appreciated most about baseball, more so than the actual games themselves. It's probably counterintuitive.
That's really cool.
Like the game, the game's wins and losses, in the scope of life, it's not that important, but the relationships you build and getting to know the kids and seeing them be successful, wherever they may go, that's the fun stuff. So I won't miss the games, but it's been really fun to come in here and you're interacting with kids, and I think kids appreciate when you take an interest in what they're trying to do and take an interest in their development, and just take an interest in them as a human being, and just asking them what they think and how they feel about something and what's the feedback. And I think they appreciate trying to connect with them on a human level instead of just, this is what we want you to do. And those are the type of relationships and the reason why I'm here, because that's kind of why that's what I like about the game. More than the games, which doesn't make any sense. But I like just the human interaction, the relationships, and those are things that will last for a long time.
Well, no doubt. Well, hey, Coach, I really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to come on
here.
Yeah,
thanks for having me. It's great what you guys do. This is awesome. This is great.
We love it. And with guys like you at the helm, it really helps. These guys are getting better. It makes our product better, the grand scheme. So absolutely love what you do. So thanks you so much.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks again.
They're really good.